The question that this finale is leaving us with is this kind of relationship sustainable? Anyway, let's go. I'll give you my thoughts. Hello, good people. Thanks for joining me again. My name is Anne, and on my channel, I review foreign shows. You know what I usually say, right? We travel around the world sitting on our couches. How fun is that? You never know which country we're gonna end up next. Hi guys, thanks for joining me again. If you're new to my channel, my name is Anne, and I review foreign international content. I just want to thank you once again. If you're joining me, I want to thank everybody who has stayed with us through the whole journey of Nevertheless. If you've been here since the beginning of Nevertheless and we're finishing up, thank you for joining me this whole time. To my Korean friends, 감사합니다 for joining us through this whole Nevertheless drama Korean series. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, Nevertheless is a South Korean series, and today they just finished the series. We had 10 episodes with Nevertheless, and like I always say, if it's Saturday, it must be Nevertheless. So anyway, let's get to it because I have some thoughts. I have some thoughts about this finale because it leaves us with, I have question marks, right? So we saw at the end, obviously, of episode 9, it's like they're in the rain and they really have like an official breakup. And even Jae-un is like, yep, I think I finally did it now. I've definitely lost her, right? Because instead of him being sincere, like Nambi is always asking for him to be sincere and say, I like you. I want to put my heart out there. I want to love you. And I don't want to flirt with other girls. I actually do really love you. He didn't do that. He ended up picking a fight with Nambi about, I think, Do-huk. And she was just like, I regret ever meeting you. I hate you. And she left. So he's out in the rain, crying. She's in her apartment, crying. They're both drenched with the rain. And there's discussion, obviously, of Nambi saying, yep, I hate him. I should have known it was not love. That was not love. And then at that point, as viewers, we were like, okay, so you figured out it must have not been love. It was lust. See, my issue was the fact that they got together. It was too electric, and then they went to bed. They should have done the other way around. Get to know each other. Build that relationship before you sleep with each other. So this is why it's so confusing, right? So at this point, they're both like, it's over, we're done, right? And then obviously they show they're both depressed, and actually Jae-un, who promises to leave her alone, is done with his art project, and he actually takes off without letting anybody know, right? And then Nambi, in the process of all that, that was kind of heartbreaking, where the fan fell on her art project that she's been working on for months. Oh my God, I was like, oh no, and the exhibition is about to happen. Anyway, I so love, by the way, Soul. Soul is a good girl. She's like, kring. She calls Jae-un and say, look, I know you were her support for her art project. This is what happened. She needs help to put it together so she has something to present for the exhibition. And of course, Jae-un like flies through and comes to help her, which, by the way, that part I really loved. I felt like, no, that's what a boyfriend would do, right? Like come and help and be that support. That one part, I felt like he had a window. That part where she's sitting there looking at the broken art and she is just crying her eyes out. I'm like, see, Jae-un, take points. A boyfriend would scoop over there, sit next to her, give her a shoulder or hug her and let her cry it out. But you just standing over there, and I get it because you know the last time I was like, I hate you, I never want to see you. But I bet if he had done that, Nambi would have just been like melted, right? Because we all know she's always had a soft spot for him, right? So anyway, that was really nice where he came, he helped her get it back together, and then they obviously put the wings on it. It's a beautiful piece, right? It's almost like she's flying, she wants to fly, you know, almost like freedom. And obviously then he takes off because he promised her, like, I won't bother you anymore. I get it that I have made your life miserable, and that was not my intention. As he leaves, one of the other guys who was helping her with the project was given this folder, kind of a leather folder that belonged to Jae-un, and said to give it to Nambi. And she took it and she said, oh, okay, but she never kind of looked at it. And then much later, she opens it and she finds, you know, he had been drawing pictures of them when they were in love, pictures of her. Even apparently the first time he saw her was when she was dating this other guy who's, let's just say, when the show first started, he wasn't the best. And that's when Jae-un first saw her. And actually he said that's when he fell in love with her, right? So obviously Nambi seeing this, it just stars up emotions like about him. And you get the feeling that maybe she's starting to get like, maybe he's the kind of guy who's flawed and will probably never say his true heart, like will never open up his heart. But that being said, there's love there. You start to feel like that's what she's starting to pick up on, you know? And then obviously then the exhibition happens, and at this point, by the way, Nambi also hangs out with Do-huk. You know, I love Do-huk because it's so refreshing to have a man who knows what they want, they say it, and they go after it. That's what Do-huk was. And I feel like he would love her with no reservations, right? I don't think if he loved her, she would never have to worry, is he gonna flirt? Or where does he stand? Does he like me? Does he not like me? Which is what she has gone through with Jae-un, to the point where she's like, you're a jerk, you know, really, because you just keep playing with my feelings. Do-huk is like, nope, I like you. I'm 100% in. And we see that he comes and sees her during her exhibition. He's brought her flowers. But I love that he, once again, being mature in love, realizing, look, you can't force something that is not there. Meaning, clearly, you still have a thing for what's his name. And I can tell I'm not number one, you know, because during the exhibition, he shows up. And then when he sees her, he runs away. And then she's like, what happened to him? Anyway, so then they have their nice exhibition. They are all meeting together, having a drink. They're celebrating the fact that the semester is over and the hard work is done. And Nambi is standing there after all that, and she's really searching her heart and goes, I miss him, you know, I miss him. And this is what makes love complicated, right? It's like common sense says, no, your heart is like, yes. And really that is a struggle for Nambi. And then obviously we saw that she goes back to the exhibition and finds Jae-un standing there. And obviously this is where they have a discussion and where she's like, you know what? You are terrible. You are a jerk. You play with my feelings, okay? You are never sincere, all right? And then here's Jae-un being like, I know you don't like me. I know you hate me. All I wanted to do was just make you smile, I guess, is what he kind of says. And then she goes on to allude to the fact that, yeah, I know you may not be all that, but I have to say I was happy to see you here, you know? And then he's like, oh, you're happy to see me here, so that means you don't hate me that much, right? And then obviously, you know, and I hope everybody has seen it. If you haven't seen it, maybe you want to bail out right now, come back later. But obviously they end up getting back together. I mean, is it evident that they loved each other or had a thing for each other? Yes. Now, what bothered me is the fact that it feels like it's always Nambi who's being the mature one, who's always putting her heart out there and saying, I like you. For that reason, I'm gonna take you with all your flaws. And Jae-un is just cruising right along, right? And actually, after this section, they show us, them, walking, and these girls are flirting with Jae-un. And it's almost like Nambi's like, yeah, that when I date him, I know that's something I'm gonna have to deal with because girls are always gonna run to him. But what I don't like is the fact that Jae-un, like, she would say, I have a girlfriend, thanks for appreciating, but I have a girlfriend. Like, make that line straight. Like, look, I'm taken, right? And then there was that part where she sees Do-huk smiling, and she kind of lets go of Jae-un's hand, almost like, I still have a thing for him, is kind of what we're getting there. I was like, what was that about, right? So my question is, okay, first of all, it feels like there could be a second season. It would be nice if there was a second season to have Jae-un mature up, where he's now more putting out his heart out there. You can't just be, I don't want to take a risk, but I like you. Like, love is a risk. You gotta give it your all or nothing. It's all or nothing, Jae-un. Okay, that's one. Second of all, how long can Nambi continue in the, oh, it's just who he is? Look, when you're dating, it's cute. But when you get married, and speaking from experience, when you're married for a long time, that will get on your nerves. You're gonna need, sooner or later, you're gonna need somebody who speaks up, somebody who says, yes, I'm all in. Like, you've gotta put your cards out there. So that's the frustrating part about it. That being said, I can see this becoming a second season where they can do more exploring of Jae-un, why he behaves this way, and does he finally mature fully in love, okay? Like all the other couples. Wasn't it nice to see Seoul with one, they're so in love, Bitna, Nam Gyu-hyun, just being happy. I was even happy to see the other couple that works in the school also becoming close. That was so much fun to watch. I feel like all the other three couples are all mature in love. It's like what you get is what you see is what you get, really. But here, I feel like Nambi will always have questions. She'll always be insecure that he's gonna do something. Is that sustainable? That's the question. Like, what do you think? I don't know about, tell me what you think, because to me, something needs to change with him for this to be sustainable. I mean, do they care for each other? Yes. Do they have chemistry? I mean, real chemistry? Yes. I mean, the way they look at each other, it's like, oh my God, it's like you're undressing each other with your eyes, right? But that being said, he can't continue that way and this becoming sustainable. And if they do a second season, it'd be interesting to see what was that when Nambi saw Do-huk and was like, let go of Jae-un's hand. Does she not want him to see them together? Like, does she still have something for him? Who knows? But anyway, once again, thank you so much for joining me. Like I said, this whole time, it's been an excellent experience. I love you for being with me this whole time. And if you do like the video, please do give a like, subscribe. It does help my channel. I'll see you again when I'm reviewing another excellent foreign international content. Deuces!